Hi there everyone, I'm Mike Washik. This is my tiny home that I built and live in, and we are in Mills River in Coney Bell. Oh my goodness. Yeah, tiny home living was a transition for myself. 15 years ago, I lived in a 5,000 square foot home. To me today, I could never go back to a conventional home. Even if it was a 1,200 square foot home, I would not go back to that. If I want to clean my house in the morning before I go to work, it takes me 3 minutes to vacuum my floor, a couple minutes to wipe down the countertops, and I'm out the door and done. Would I go back? No way. I absolutely love it. I love Coney Bell for the community. The people here are so nice. You don't have to mow your lawn, which I do not like. I do like the garden. I love the tiny home living. I'm lucky I'm a builder, so I'm gonna build myself a new one because I had no intention of living in this home, but Coney Bell is probably gonna be a good chance where I retire because I like it that much. My tiny home, the home that I'm building in right now, is 30 long by 10 wide, and inside space on the high side, it's 10'8", so really, really tall. We've got here in Coney Bell, 15 feet in all directions of your home is your space to do with as you please. And you can see I put a big deck on. I did get a little extra space for the huge flower garden that I put in. So here in Coney Bell, I feel it is really, really reasonable for as beautiful as this place is. There's the amazing landscaping. They've done a beautiful job of putting in trees in everywhere, making it a better place to come home to, and the prettiness that there is. And again, very affordable. We pay on the inside lots, we pay $550 each. On the very outside perimeter of these, they pay $625. Broden and I, we love mountain biking here at DuPont and Pisgah. Some of the best mountain biking trails in all of North America. To me, having a tiny home, having an outside space like this is real key because it is a tiny home, and it can get small in wintertime. Of course, the fun beer fridge, and then I just have this as extra freezer for us, and then to keep the deck a little bit cleaner, a shoebox and a couple miscellaneouses. In the wintertime, I can pull this, turn this on, and you can warm your toes. I can turn the electric heat on over my head, tilt it a little bit, and I can sit here and enjoy the heat from that. And in the evening time in the winter, the sun is coming down right here, keeping you warm as well. In the mornings, I can sit this way and I get the morning sun, which is amazing, having coffee sitting out here. And then at the night, I'm switching to this position and I'm getting my nighttime sunsets. So this space that I got is just, I'm so lucky to get space 17. Out behind the house, I built a little getaway spots for my 17-year-old son, Broden. He's able to go out there, do some gaming, hang out with his buddies, have his own space, which is really nice. Another note about Broden, shortly here, I'm building Broden his own tiny home. I've already got the trailer. The foundation is already purchased. It's just 2 miles down the road. That one is a 8.5 wide by 16 long. He's getting pretty excited to be the owner of his own home at 17. Now that we've seen the outside of the house, maybe we could go inside and see the inside of the house. All right, so this is the inside of my 300 square foot tiny home. Currently I am standing in my living room, and as I said, I design all my own tiny homes from beginning to end. In this tiny home, I have a full-size couch. I actually purchased this to sell with the house when I originally bought it. And it does have a large storage underneath here. It is a real comfortable couch. I've got the AC unit up here, which easily heats and cools the whole entire home, even the loft space. When I was designing this home, I put a privacy window up top and a fan right in front of it, and reversed the fan to draw air up into that space to heat and cool so that I could get by with just one mini split. And then from here, sitting on the couch, you can turn the TV. This, I put it on a swivel, so if you're sitting there in the living room, we can watch TV. If you're doing some work in the kitchen, you can always turn it to the kitchen as well. This area here, I designed for somebody that is going to be working at home. So I set it up so that there's lots of plugs. Actually, I've got a USB-C and USB-A, and then I've got a switch for whoever is sitting here at their desk. There's a large space underneath here that's good for printers, fax machines, whatever. And then there's also a bank of 4 electrical plugs under there for anything extra. Here I have a spot where you can pass a wire down and through behind the wall so it's hidden and it pops out right from underneath here. Tidy up the cords. I've been building tiny homes for 5 years. I was already pretty environmentally friendly then, but it kind of went down a rabbit hole of being even more environmentally friendly. I was putting on additions and on these big homes and work on homes that are 5,000 plus square feet. My girlfriend and I, we started talking, and we started talking about building tiny homes because the footprint is so much smaller. And yeah, just build sustainably, and I like to, again, over the top build. I look at my homes and I want them to last for 50 years plus. My dad's 87. Back in his day, there weren't subs. As a builder, you did everything from ground up. I was super lucky to learn so much from my dad. I mean, I was 3 years old pushing the Tonka truck around the job site, carrying a board for my dad, or pushing a broom. I took Better Built Construction over. This was actually in Alaska. I took it over when I was 23. My dad retired. He's always bragged to my customers and to friends and stuff that Mike is just taking it to a different level. He's really extreme about doing stuff the right way. And doing it the right way makes me happy. I get paid twice on any job I go to. I get paid in compliments, and then I get paid for real. On the other side of the house, on the entryway side of the house, a couple years ago, I came up with this pass-through window that brings your outside to the inside and vice versa. It is a very large window that brings in fresh air. It happens to be kind of more or less my desk. It's got a nice big long drawer underneath. I'll sit here, I'll have my breakfast. Another key feature to tiny homes is having lots of light coming in and having the outside come in, which windows are super important. In this home, I put in several long windows up top so that you wouldn't have to put blinds on them and you still have the light coming in. One other feature I like to do in my tiny homes, people that are living in a community like this, I mean, you got a lot of neighbors. So you can have your blinds down and still have light coming in, and your neighbors aren't right here in your living room with you when you have a system like this. Again, how I build my tiny homes, you got 8-foot paneling, so there's a seam right there. So right now, I've got it trimmed off, but to add a feature is I have rope lighting behind it for mood lighting at night and just nice and soft. When you're getting ready for bed, it's nice to have the lights nice and dim. In the midsection of this tiny home is a full-size kitchen. You got a full-size oven, which is 30-inch, which is in everybody's home. You've got a full-size refrigerator, which is very important because I do enjoy cooking. Something in my tiny homes I like to do is skip the upper cabinets because it takes away from space in your tiny home. So open shelving ends up being a nice way to get from being boxed in. And if you keep yourself nice and neat, it's not an eyesore. One thing that when I came up with this design, washing your dishes, like plates, bowls, silverware, you can go right from the wet sink right in. Your dishes are done. There's no more putting them away because they're in space. I do put my silverware up there, but then silverware does eventually find a home in this 3-bank drawer system here. Another feature that I put in my tiny homes, underneath I have roll-out drawers underneath. 2 of these in this space. There is one more on this side as well. Food storage and pantry items in a small kitchen. What do you do with it all? So again, back to the 3-bank drawer. I wanted drawers instead of cabinetry here. So you can see that this is pretty loaded up with a large amount of pantry items. You can put more pantry items under here, but this one here is a very large, again, filled with more pantry stuff. A little messy. Typically in a corner cabinet, you would see a Lazy Susan. To me, a bank of drawers is really key in any house. And again, the Lazy Susans, I feel like they waste a lot of space. So this space is accessed from inside the closet in the bathroom. And there's a door down there. So this is a space for winter clothes, something that you're not going to really get to that often, but it's not wasting a lot of space like a Lazy Susan would. On the flip side of the kitchen here, we have our steps, which is I have incorporated a large amount of storage space in there for pantry items or whatever you like. So underneath here, we have large storage for bulk items. A little bit more storage that I incorporated into this tiny home. Each one of the stairs has a large storage. This particular one goes back to here, so it's a real deep one. This one is just straight down, so it's a little bit smaller. This one is solid because inside is the electrical panel. This one here has storage all the way back to this space as well. This top one here is, of course, right to here. I did leave this bottom space open. I figured people can throw their shoes underneath there. For me, it happens to house my cat's food, so it's out of the way and keeps my house nice and clean the way I like it. It's fun for me to build a little bit of a higher end home, and in 2 ways. One is the stuff that you don't see. Just building the best envelope that I can, so no water gets in, no water gets in your walls, high-end insulation. At the end of the day, what I like to do is come and sit on a bucket and sit there and imagine myself living in the home. What can I do? How should stuff be placed? And just trying to build it for whoever's going to buy it so that it works really well for anyone. Eventually, I will be selling this house because, again, I'm going to be building my dream, my last tiny home for myself. This house, when it does go, which I hope is within the next 2 years, a year would be great. I'll be putting this on the market for $120,000. You can still buy lots of homes for more than that. But again, I was talking about my build quality, how I like to think about everything, like literally every day I think about it. At 120, somebody's going to get a beautiful home that's going to last a really long time. Entering into the bathroom here, we have a pocket door that pulls through and closes you off. I don't have a lock on it. It's just done with a magnet. There's a magnet in the back wall that holds it to the wall, and there's a magnet that holds it to the close position. In my builds, I don't build any 2x4 walls because it takes up too much space. I use 3/4 inch finished grade plywoods to just add a little extra space into your house. Coming into the bathroom, we have stackable washer and dryer. Super nice. I built a folding table for when you're pulling clothes out. Underneath here, you more or less have a dresser. You've got your folding table, you've got your closet right here. The closet space is 4 foot wide. I've got hanging hooks in there. There's another shelf that my cat's sleeping on right now. And that is how you access that back corner inside of the kitchen, which it's 2 foot by 2 foot by 36 inches tall. So you can stack a lot of stuff in there. Also, the electric hot water heater is in there as well. On the shower side, we have a nice big 46 by 40 inch shower. It's more than enough for 2 people. It's got the cobblestone shower pan and lots of storage for my boy and I. The other thing that I do in my tiny homes that I mentioned is all of my water lines are inside the home. And this right here, for example, is my hot and cold water lines are running underneath this piece of trim that I built to keep it inside the warm envelope of the house. Keeping all of your water lines inside your house is going to keep them from freezing, which a lot of contractors don't think about that, or DIYers. Moving up into the loft space, going up the stairs. Oh, I can't forget about Arrow's catio for going outside to his outside area. So coming up into my lofts, I tried to build my loft as large as I can. This one, I can stand and be bent at the hips and a couple steps and you are in to your bed at that point. This is my space for the evening. I take and watch my iPad right here, which that is my entertainment, and yeah, this is my upstairs space. Again, I built this pass-through here for the fan to draw and push cold air and hot air up into this space there. You also have an egress window right here, which meets code, so it is an actual exit in the event of an emergency. The name of the business is Mike's Custom Tiny Homes. We actually started out in Key West, Florida, and at the time it was southernmost tiny homes. Everything about Key West just got too expensive, so that is what brought me to North Carolina. When my son and I moved here, for the first year and a month, maybe 2, I 100% worked here in a Coney Belt. The particular street that I'm on here in phase 2, I was the only house, and there was tons of houses coming in all the time. Every day I was working on a new tiny home, whether I was setting it up, hooking up the plumbing, water, electric, skirting it, putting vapor barrier under it, insulating the basement walls, and then skirting it with whatever choice they wanted. I had lots of fixes here. Windows that were flashed wrong, doors that are flashed wrong, roofs that didn't have any type of tar paper, any type of ice and water shield. So all metal roofs will always condensate a little bit and then drip down onto the, well, it's supposed to be the tar paper or ice and water shield, and then it runs down off of that and drips off the eave. The certification is good. It gives you obviously more than something that hasn't been certified. One of the really important things is, like, if you got a DIYer that has YouTubed how to do electrical work, I mean, I've been doing it since I was 8. I was pulling wire at that point. I wasn't doing much except for pulling wire. But I mean, at least with, like, say NOAA, they inspect all your wiring. So NOAA starts out, they inspect your trailer, then the framing, pattern and nails and all that with framing. Then you go on to electrical and plumbing, connections and all that. So at least if you have NOAA or REVA, but that kind of pertains to a little bit of a larger builder. But yeah, at least if you get it certified by NOAA, you know there's been a few points that have been checked off the list, so that's at least good. Don't 100% trust just because it has the NOAA certificate that it's okay. I would still bring in somebody to inspect my home, even with any type of a certificate. The next tiny home that I build for myself, the one big feature that's going to change is having a first floor master bedroom. It'd be 10 foot by 10 foot. Everything essentially will be exactly what you see here. That is my dream tiny home. Back to your question about, has living in a tiny home like bettered me as a builder? Absolutely, hands down, living in this thing has showed me so many ways to better build a home. And I'm super excited to get going on another build after living in this thing for so long. And I haven't been building right now because I haven't had a shop. But like I said earlier, I have a shop being put up now, so I'm excited to start re-implementing my dream of building tiny homes and just smaller footprint on our planet.
Thank you for watching our video and for stopping by Tiny House Expedition. I'm Alexis.
And I'm Christian. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
And for more tiny home tours and stories, click the videos below.
And join us on Instagram for bonus content,
including face-to-face conversations with us. We hope to see you there.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Have a good one.